there's a crisis that doesn't have as much attention that it deserves. And that crisis is human trafficking, also known for organized criminal acts. Human trafficking is a problem that not many people internationally are fully aware of, and we as a society need to help raise awareness. In order to raise awareness, we should discuss what human trafficking is, discuss who are the victims of human trafficking, as well as discuss possible solutions to combat against human trafficking. To start off, let's define what human trafficking is. In order to define it, we need to know what its original definition is. We also need to know what its usual cause for human trafficking is, as well as discuss what people usually confuse human trafficking with. It is commonly known for sexual exploitation, but that is not the only way to define human trafficking. For starters, Dr. Elizabeth Wheaton, a PhD in economics at SMU Dead College, as well as her colleagues Dr. Edward Shore and Professor Thomas Galley, describe human trafficking as harboring a person by force, and it means for sexual exploitation, forced labor, slavery, or even the removal of one's own organs. Dr. Tiffany Doviatis, a PhD researcher at the Health of Equity Center for the University of Pennsylvania, states that human trafficking is the third largest source of income for organized crime. Human trafficking usually is caused when an individual or a family is indebted to someone. Dr. Wheaton states about debt bondage is one of the oldest forms of slavery and the most prevalent form of human trafficking in the modern day and era. And it usually occurs when someone has to pay off a debt. Now, let's talk about how human trafficking isn't affiliated with prostitution, even though it is commonly mistaken for such. Dr. Tiffany Doziades states how sex trafficking and prostitution are not the same, but there is a distinction between the two, but it's hard to describe the differences. Although we cannot fully describe all the differences of human trafficking and prostitution, the main huge difference that you can notice is that human trafficking is illegal everywhere around the globe, while prostitution is legal in some parts of the world. Now that we've described what human trafficking is, as well as its causes, and what it's confused with, let's talk about who is affected by human trafficking and how they treat this problem. According to Dr. Francis Burnett, who has a PhD in criminology as well as criminal justice at Arizona State University, he states how most victims are female. While there are male victims and children as victims of human trafficking, female is usually the most common. Human trafficking can cause emotional as well as physical pain to their own victims. Victims have organizations as well as health clinics to help get treatment to reduce trauma, infections, pregnancy, and even suicidal thoughts. Dr. Burnett states how victims may be held for ransom. They may be raped, tortured, or even emotionally abused. It can even cause for someone to go on the brink of suicide. I've stated how I had a friend who was a victim of human trafficking, and she committed suicide because she was forced to have sexual relations with someone she didn't love and got pregnant, as well as had one of her own organs removed. Even with treatment, her family cried and suffered for the loss of their daughter. As for me, I've lost a friend due to human trafficking. Now that we discussed who are the victims of human trafficking and what the treatments are, let's now talk about how we can possibly combat against such. This issue is an important topic to talk about because talking about human trafficking helps raise awareness about this endeavor. Dr. Wayne believes that it is important to talk about raising awareness, because if you raise awareness, human trafficking can cause victims to go even into more suicidal thoughts, and raising awareness to help prevent it. It is important to speak up to local law enforcement, such as the police, to prevent any future endeavors of human trafficking from even occurring. Developing organizations is also another way to help fight against human trafficking. Organizations can help raise awareness and possibly prevent future acts of human trafficking from occurring. So I'm going to start concluding how it is important to prevent human trafficking by raising awareness and speaking up to local law enforcement. It should be stopped as it is an international problem amongst society. To combat against this, I believe that it is important to help raise awareness and to speak up to local law enforcement against human trafficking in even developed organizations. Thank you.